What if I told you that we might be doing courses all wrong, that we might be doing high ticket all wrong? And let me tell you my story because I, like you, decided I was going to do courses. I was going to sell courses. I was going to sell high ticket, masterminds, all of that stuff. Had a $5,000 course, made $2 million with it. But here's the problem. Yes, it made money, but in 2021, when I went to go try and sell this, right? Okay, so I've got a $2 million business that's doing great. It's growing, year after year. We've been doing phenomenal. I go to try and sell the business, and I can't sell it. The problem was I was the business. A course business is unsellable. They wanted me on every webinar. They wanted me on every podcast interview. They wanted my face in every course, every blog post, every email. If you have sold courses, you understand what I mean. You are the business, and it's cool. You can make some money, but you're trapped in that business forever. You'll never be able to sell it. Look at Tony Robbins, Dave Ramsey. They have to stay in that. And then what's going to happen when they move on, when they pass away? It's very hard for the children to then take that up. So I found a solution. I call it knowledge networks, and so what a knowledge network to me is there's actually a business model called SVOD, but that's just a very weird thing to try and explain to people. It's a longer conversation, subscription video on demand. If you look at companies like Skillshare, Masterclass, Disney Plus, Hulu Plus, lynda.com, these guys are making levels on levels on levels on levels more than any of the gurus in our space. And that's no disrespect. I'm a fan of the Todd Browns and the Russell Brunsons and the Frank Kerns and the Neil Patels and all that stuff. I love all of those guys, just like you love those guys. And this is no trash talking or anything like that. It's just, I did all of that, right? I bought all the courses. I went to all the events. I did all the same things that you're probably doing. And then I found a trap. And now I'm watching a lot of these guys start moving to a different business model, right? And so I made a pivot in, I think it was 2021 or right after, somewhere around there. I think it was like September. And that pivot is moving to what I saw, these Skillshares, Masterclasses, Disney Pluses, Netflix, right? Okay. The founder of Netflix isn't out there making another movie and another movie and another movie, right? The founder of Netflix, he's got other people that are creating content for him all the time. And I realize I'm talking about some big examples here, big company examples. And sometimes that can be hard for our minds to wrap around, like, well, they've got millions of dollars and all of that stuff. But, just like an acorn becomes an oak tree, a small business becomes a big business. Okay. And so you can do the same things. I did the same thing. That's why I'm on here talking to you right now, is to show you like what I did, how I did it. All right. So the first pivot that I made is I pivoted to having some partners. I figured, well, if I can just, like what I'll do is I'll just give somebody 50%. All right. This is what you might be thinking, oh, sure. I'll just give somebody 50% of their course, and whatever their course makes, we split 50-50. The problem with that, all right, is if you become successful, that is a great idea when you're not making much money, and so when adskills.com was first starting out, it was not making a lot of money. And so, 50% is easy to give away to someone. Well, fast forward, we become successful, and now I'm making, 20,000, 30,000 a month, and I'm writing checks, and it was a great course. But the problem is, I start writing $20,000 checks to this guy who I had partnered with, and for that amount of money, like I think actually for $30,000, you can buy an hour of Gary Vee's time, right? Okay. So for that amount, the money that I was paying, I could have gotten Gary Vee to make a course with me, and so it just becomes too expensive. So then I decided, okay, well, 50% is too expensive. I'll drop down to 20%. the same problem happens over time. You become more successful, and that check just still becomes bigger. And so there was different ways that we have figured out. Some of the ways is we get people to partner with us for free. If you have your ear to the grindstone, I'm sorry, if you have your ear to the ground, you can know when authors are launching books. You can know when someone is setting up launching their own course. So that was one way we got an expert. We got like the number one TikTok ads spender in Canada to create a TikTok ads course for us in ad skills, because I had seen that he was launching a course and I was like, hey, I'd love to help you promote that, right? All we need is a quick little course that we can drop to our members and I can blast out about you. So this is what we're talking about in the Knowledge Networks workshop. We're going in depth. This live stream is not over. There's more case study coming. Just a quick plug. The Knowledge Networks live shop, we're kicking that off. We open the cart at Thursday the 7th at 8 a.m. We're opening it to 100 people. Those links will be down below, actually, when this video gets published on the web page. You can join the Knowledge Network workshop, and we're going in depth into the tools, the strategies, the marketing, the acquisition, the contracts we used, all of that stuff that I can't really go into in a quick 30-minute live stream. But one of the methods is understanding when these guys are going live with something, and then you can kind of use that energy to help promote them and get a piece. Then also, most people are willing to create, and here's the thing, okay? If you do this in other markets, all right, a lot of you watching this, you're going to want to try and create the Netflix of conversion rate optimization, or the Netflix of funnels, or the Netflix of whatever. If you do this in the business world, everybody wants thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, and they want 50%. And you do this in other niches, all right, some guys are willing to give you an hour course for $250. Okay. And they think that's a good deal. Like, they just made $250 an hour for that, so like, this is very easy to do in other markets. Okay. So that's one of the methods that we've used to acquire people. And we'll talk more about that in the workshop. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about is price. All right. I tested a lot of prices when I switched over to a Knowledge Network or SVOD, subscription video on demand model. I tried the same, right? I tried what all of our teachers tell us, right? $99 a month, $199 a month, $47 a month. These are all prices you might think to try. The problem with most of those prices is your churn rate. All right. You have to understand, churn is a huge force that is not nearly talked about enough. By the way, I do want to say hi to everybody that's in the live stream as I'm recording this right now. Mike, Jocks, Andres, I see you guys, but I'm also making a recording right now. So I love you. Thanks for commenting. So getting back to that, the prices, all right, churn, massive force that you have to understand, okay? If you have, let's say, like in our industry, we normally say, if we can keep people for 3 months. And so that's essentially like a 30% churn rate. It's like 30% leave this month, next month, and you're finally at 100%, right? That's, we're just doing basic maths. That's not exactly how it works, but we're, trying to do easy math. If that's the case, okay, if you had a 30% churn rate, all right, that means you have to be growing by 40% just to grow by 10%, right? Because you have 30% leaving and then 40% coming. So that means really only you're growing by 10%. The chances of y'all actually growing 40% month over month is ridiculous. You might be able to pull that off with a launch. You might even be able to pull that off over 90 days. You hire a good ad person, but like, you're going to start fizzling. All right. You really need to have your churn. Okay. If you're, this is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about, how do I become the next Skillshare, Masterclass, Abundance Plus, Sunday Plus, some of these interviews and case studies that you're going to be able to see. If you want to become one of these platforms, you have to have a churn rate under 10%. Okay. that allows you, if you're growing, like most of these guys, they're looking for like an 8% churn rate, 8, 7%, 5% churn rate. With those kind of churn rates, you can grow really fast. You can grow really easily because you only have to grow by 10, 15% in order to be actually growing if your churn rate is under 10%. Right. Okay. So it makes it easy for you. This is what these guys are looking for. And that's why you can't do these $47 a month, $99 a month price points, is your churn rate is going to be too high. You'll sell, you'll make some sales. The problem is they're going to leave, and then, you're going to do it. You're going to do a big launch. And the first 30 days is going to sound really good. You made some sales, everybody joined. But what's going to happen is you're going to start realizing, hey, this is really tough to grow more members. It's just too many people are leaving as you're doing your marketing, and it's just defeating the process. And so we ended up going with, I think we tried $14.99 a month and $8.99 a month. That was too small. We tried those prices because that's where Netflix started out at. Then we looked at the market, at all the other knowledge network companies that were out there, and we saw everybody was at $19.99 a month. We moved to there. Things stabilized. People were staying on. We had something like 96% of people, 93% of people were staying on at that price point. People were just not leaving. And then the next problem you're going to have with pricing is, acquisition. It's really hard to acquire more customers when you're only making $19.99 a month. And so if it costs you $60 to acquire a customer, with paid ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, whatever it is that you're doing, even if you're doing SEO, you're still probably paying an agency or you're paying yourself. So there's always a cost per acquisition. It's really hard to acquire a customer for under $60 today. All right. Most people can acquire a customer under $90. If you're good, you're probably acquiring a customer under $60. So that means you got to go 3 months without payment. So if you look at a lot of these platforms out there right now you know why they're charging $99 a year to join, because it costs them $60 to acquire a customer. They spend $99. The customer's giving them $99 for a year. And so they make a little bit of profit on that first year. Second year, it's all profit for them. And if they were smart, they would be having upsells like we understand in this business. That's the beauty. Okay. Most of y'all that are watching this right now, you're in this Russell Brunson, Frank Kern, Todd Brown kind of world, and we understand upsells. And so we have a huge power advantage over some of these platforms, because the only upsell they ever have is you're either paying monthly or yearly. And then so if you have other packages that you can offer, and that's been a huge thing that I'll talk about inside the workshop on Thursday, all the different upsells that we've tried, which ones worked, which price points worked, how we do certification programs along with that. That's where we make a ton of money, is using this knowledge network business model plus certifications. Tons of money that can be made there. Skillshare should absolutely be doing that more. Okay, where do we go from here? So that's the pricings that we've tested, why we use those pricings. I want to talk a little bit about some of our marketing strategies. You might think, okay, here's what we'll do. It's hard to get somebody to join a monthly program. So what do? A free trial. Right? Yeah, we'll just do a free trial. Yeah, I tried that too, guys. I read all the same books as you. I buy all the same courses as you. I go to the same events as you. I tried the free trial thing, and it works at first. When you send out an email to your email list, hey, we now have a free trial. Yeah, of course, you're going to get a big buzz of people, or you launch it to your Facebook or your Twitter, wherever it is that you're at. Maybe you're on Mastodon. I don't know where you're at these days, but the free trial will work at first, but the problem is the stick rate on a free trial. All right. You're going to start losing people. Then you've got retention, you've got churn, you've got all these different problems. And then it's are you doing a free trial with a credit card? And then now, when you're posting free trial and then people go to sign up and they need a credit card to sign up. And if you're doing a credit card, sometimes you need to charge a penny, or depending on what card you're using. And so then you're getting comments about, it's not really free. Why do you need my credit card if it's free? there's all kinds of problems with free trials. Okay. So I started doing more investigation, learning how these big companies are doing what they're doing. And instead, I found out there's a book called Product Led Growth. And it's a very tiny book. You can read it in like 2 hours, but this is kind of the playbook that a lot of these guys have been using. And in this book, they talk about not a free trial, okay, just a free level. When we switched over to this with AdSkills, our lead gen skyrocketed, okay? So what you want is you want to create a free level. You're going to put some of your best stuff in just a free level, all right? Think about Zoom, all right? You didn't go to a VSL to buy Zoom. You didn't go to a sales page, you didn't have to like see Facebook ads. Like now I get it. They have TV ads and stuff because they're huge, right? But the way Zoom worked is a friend was like, hey, I want to jump on with you. Here's this free tool. And it was free. You could use it for free. A lot of you are still using your free Zoom accounts to run your programs. And that's why you can only do coaching calls for 45 minutes, or you can only do 45-minute long events because you got to jump onto another link. It's just a free level. All right. And it attracts millions of people because now you can really leverage the power of free. If you go to adskills.com, there's a free level in there. We call it the Academy. There's great stuff in there. There's like 23 hours of stuff that you can get inside there. And what happens is you get in there with zero friction. You get in there, you fall in love. You're like, man, this is great stuff. Like, I can't believe this is free. And what happens? You start seeing all the other videos around that are grayed out. It's like, oh, I can't go to that one. Oh, this one's in the free section. Oh, that one's in the paid. That one's in the paid, right? The same thing happens in cable TV, right? We're scrolling through the channels in cable TV, and then we see, oh, wow, my favorite movie's on. You go to click on, it's HBO, it's Cinemax, it's whatever. So it's like a paid thing. And then what do? You go and you grab that subscription because you want to watch that thing. All right. And so that model, that pricing strategy, that marketing strategy is what really helped us to start getting thousands of people in there. I think at our best, we were getting something like 100, 300 a day. It varies. Some months, there's 40 people, some months there's more. If you do a podcast, if you get interviewed on a podcast, you could have a big influx of people joining your free thing. And so using that free level into that $19.99 a month price point, those things, it works really, really well. We're going to talk a lot more about this stuff, the marketing strategies. We're going to go in depth into how do we do our retargeting? How do we do our Google ads? How do we do our landing pages? How do we do our ad copy? The sales page, how do you structure your website? Because you don't really need a VSL when you have a free program. It's a lot easier. There's different landing pages that you want to use. So we'll talk to you about how we do all of that, how we did the email marketing, all of that stuff. We're going to just, unveil everything, how we do the contracts with the experts to get them to agree, how we do the outreach to, attract those experts, how we find email addresses of YouTubers. That was a really hard thing. YouTubers are great. They're already out there creating content, right? That's why you see so many YouTubers on Skillshare, is because they're already creating the content. They're willing to give you courses, right? They probably already have 3 years worth of content that they can give you, So I'm going to cover all of the stuff in our workshop. It's a 6-hour long event. If you liked anything that I told you here, if you saw any good tips in this, we're going to do this, but for 6 hours. And I got my buddy James Schramko. He's doing the keynote at the end of the day. He's going to talk about the other side of how he gets royalties and rev share agreements from other people for his own expertise. So that's a whole nother profit stream that you can do. So that's all going to be in the workshop. The cart opens September 7th at 8 a.m. There will be links underneath this. If you're on the website, if you're on Facebook, we'll be dropping links everywhere throughout the week, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you got some value out of this. I'm Justin Brook from happily unemployed.com. See y'all later.